Phantom's Fact YouTube channel. The second review for this week is Eternals, released in 2021, starring Kit Harington, Angelina Jolie, Richard Madden, Man Dong-seok, and Gemma Chan, and it was directed by Chloe Zhao. Also, pronunciation. This movie follows it's the Marvel movie, so it follows another Marvel comic-based thing where these Eternals were sent to Earth way back long ago to help rise up a Celestial, but now it's modern days, and as they affected the growth of humanity, now bad thing is gonna happen, and shitty CGI villain shows up out of nowhere. And you get a very fucking messy film. Here's the thing about this film. The idea is exploring this. You have immortal gods starting from the universe and helping humanity grow. And they have different opinions on humanity, and you see this all, which good ideas to explore that they do. One of them is a technological guy and helps advance their society. And he reacts to the power of the nuke being let off, and he loses his faith. But then the next scene, he already has his faith in humanity again because he said, "Oh, I have a family now," which I guess that makes sense, but why not delve more deeper into this? I feel like the more interesting parts of the film that they could explore, they do not explore it. And especially because you have another one who tries to help humanity and keep peace among them. But then you have others who disagree with that, and so I probably should say the actors are doing a really good job. The acting in this movie is really good. But and the ideas and the concepts, if you were to give me the base ideas as a concept or show me the scenes that just any scene from this, I would be like, yeah, that seems very intriguing and interesting with exploring the fact that immortals age and how they affect humanity and stuff like that. Yes, that would be a very compelling and interesting idea to explore. But when you watch the film as a whole, it really does not fucking jive well. The pacing is not very good in this. It is edited so poorly because you have the threat in modern day that the Eternals are dealing with, and then you keep cutting back to to them when they first arrived and stuff like that, and it's why edit the film like this? It really does. It breaks up the energy and forward moving momentum. I say either you just make a film about the past, then make a film about that, but I don't know, you could also shorten it and make the pacing a lot better than it actually is in the film. As I said, the actors are doing a good enough job here, but another problem is the levity and comedy. All these characters are taking everything 100% seriously, and it's hard to connect to them when they just kind of have the same stone-friend aggression when it comes to things. Even though, there's comedy in the film, but none of it really lands for me. The only one who kind of has comedy is the guy who acts like he's a Bollywood star and he just keeps passing down generations to generation. That's a funny idea, but none of his comedy really lands for me. And there's other interesting ideas. One of them is permanently a kid. That would be that's such an interesting idea, and they explore it, but the resolution to that just feels unsatisfactory. This film, I will say, really tried to do something different than normal Marvel movies. It tried to be more philosophical and thought-provoking than most other Marvel films, which I will give it credit to. But the main group of Eternals that you follow, because there's side ones that get introduced as the film goes on, I feel like the main group of Eternals aren't that interesting. You have Icarus, who, guess what fucking happens to that guy? And then you have, not Cersei, that's a Game of Thrones character. Cirrus? Anyways, you have those two, and the actors are doing a fine job, and especially because they're love interests who lost their way, and I don't know, they weren't too interesting. And then there's like the leader that they have in the film, but you're apparently supposed to connect to this leader, but you don't. You barely get why she's like, we need to let humanity thrive. And I was like, I do not see any fucking point in why we need humanity to thrive for them. The one cool thing that this introduces into the Marvel Universe is the Celestials. Orisham, all those big motherfuckers, I love their designs and their whole story with the cosmic energy. I love that. That's probably just from the comics. But the execution, not of those scenes are fine. The execution of the whole film entirely, I don't think is very interesting. And especially because you have and the villain, kind of, there's other villains in this, but the villain in this, I feel like, is an interesting idea to explore what his motives is. But one, it's not the most convincing effect, and two, it's really fucking funny when you see a dog absorb an immortal and then turn into a human and say, "I know my purpose now," and then flies away. Like, what the fuck? His motivation is interesting, and it connects to the Eternals, but I feel like the execution, yet again, not very well done. As I said, if you would play any of these scenes or ideas out in this movie, I would be like, yes, that sounds very thought-provoking and interesting, but just the way that this movie plays out with the scene by scene and the editing cutting back and forth and the pacing being really bad, it's just not very compelling. It's so fucking weird and confusing why they decided to do this. And there are interesting ideas explored in this, but as I said, they're not the main immortals. Like Angelina Jolie and Mao Dong-seok, they have an interesting relationship because they're both Eternals, and she's starting to go insane, and he decides to take her somewhere and, like, harvest her, like, protect her. Those two characters, I feel like, were more compelling than Ikaris and Cersei. Not Cersei, so whatever, I forgot how to pronounce her name, but yeah, it really is not too interesting, and the action, while fine, is very hit or miss. Like, the creative ideas of their powers, I like how one of them has, like, little shooty guns, and then one guy's just Superman, but then I like the different ideas for their powers, and the effects for, like, the glowy eternal shit I find interesting looking, but at the same time, the effects for the things they're fighting aren't very good. The effects for Orisham and the Celestials I like because they really capture how big they're supposed to be, and I really do like that. And I can't wait to see more of the Celestials in the MCU, but the Eternals, I really could care fucking less for. As I said, there are interesting ideas explored in this film, but I feel like the editing, pacing, and plot structure of this film really does not make it jive that well. These characters are taking everything so seriously that when you have comedic relief, it doesn't really land, and it just seems so flat. And there's, like, moral comprehensions like, oh, this will end the planet, but it will cause other things good to happen. And it's like, yeah, that's an interesting idea. You just don't explore it very well. And especially because the main leader, Prime Celestial, you don't really find out that much about her. She just dies very quickly in the film, and you don't see her journey of realizing why humanity is worth saving. Like, that's my biggest problem in this. You don't really see the characters being like, oh yeah, humanity seems worth it. Like, I don't see that. And I will say the immortal ideas explored in this film, where you have immortals and how they affect the course of humanity's development, there are some interesting ideas explored, but due to the plot structure, it really does not lead anywhere. You can see any scenes and be like, oh, that seems like interesting, but it does not mesh into a full product. So, do I recommend this? I probably would say no. It is not a necessary Marvel movie. If you are a perfectionist, I mean, a Marvel perfectionist, you could see something worse. And I will say, this film did take the risk. It did try something different, which I will say I liked. But for entertainment, it's not really that compelling or entertaining. The film scenes are compelling and thought-provoking. So if you have Disney Plus and you want to watch a movie, you could watch a movie 2 hours and 30 minutes that isn't the worst, but I wouldn't say you need to see this. It isn't very interesting to me, but that is just my thoughts. So, hope you guys enjoyed. Please like, subscribe down below. Oh yeah, I forgot something. Harry Styles is in this fucking movie. Enough of that. Anyways, make sure to like, subscribe. He's fine. He's just in the end credits with some shitty CGI troll. It's fucking... Anyways, make sure to like, subscribe down below, comment your opinions on the movie. I always like to see those. If you guys want me to watch it, review any other movies, leave those in the comment section. And of course, let me know if you guys want me to do a rating system. I don't think I need one because I think my opinions stated throughout the review. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you all later.